Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
That in episode 1 just to let us see the Starks again, but I still really love that piece of music. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. We are talking House of the Dragon. I am Sam. Joining me, it's Stefan.
Me again. How we doing, guys?
Yes, it is you again.
It is me again, back once again.
You said that like there'd be people disappointed. So, it's me again. Sorry.
Me again.
You said it very apologetically, not like this kind of like, hey, I am here.
No,
it's me again. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry, disappoint you.
Still not Kaylee. I know.
Kaylee still won't come back. Yeah.
I know. Everyone's sad. Yeah. But no, we're keeping her locked away. She's there for like break class in case of Deadpool and Wolverine. Which is soon.
It is very soon.
But we are talking House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 6, and the title of the episode was...
Small Folk.
That it would be the Small Folk.
Oh, it's all in one word, it's a Small Folk. Yeah, no gaps.
Have you ever noticed, and it might just be me being hypersensitive to this, but when you want to cast peasants in any fantasy or medieval drama, generally they go for a West Country accent.
I can't be honest and say I've noticed, but...
Hello, my lover. Yeah, I'm a peasant. I'm here trying to carry my cart of mud. Yeah.
I suppose this is the same as how I always noticed that all stupid people have an Essex accent. So I suppose, yeah.
Well, that's because all people from Essex are stupid.
Well, most of them.
Name me a smart one. Go.
My wife is very clever.
Oh.
Disagree, I did.
Wow, that's smooth. Moving on. This is House of Dragon Season 2, Episode 6, The Small Folk. We've got... overall, I'm genuinely not sure about this episode. As in, I'm not... Like, I watched it and I thought there was nothing in the episode that grabbed me like, ugh, that was crap, or that was boring. And there was nothing in it that really grabbed me as like, oh, that was really good, that was exciting. I kind of felt like this one dragged for the first time.
And it was one of the longer episodes as well this season.
It's probably why I felt it.
Yeah, but I think this was one of those ones where at the end of this episode, I turned round to aforementioned wife, who watches this with me, and we both kind of went, season 1 was much better.
No, I don't know if I agree with that.
That's kind of what we said at the end of this episode. We were both like, you know what, I think season 1 was better.
Well, I think you're both wrong. That whole how smart she was thing was right out the window straight away.
Gone. It's gone. I don't know, the whole, it's like the Damon storyline is still kind of just dragging along in the background, and there's a lot of good stuff happening. Yeah. And we've seen some really cool visuals and some amazing things have happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think at any point in season 1 did I go, oh, that was a long episode.
Possibly looking back, rose-tinted glasses, it was a couple of years ago.
That's true.
There were a few episodes in season 1 where I felt completely and utterly lost. I remember one episode where they basically just had an orgy for no reason. And I remember at the end of that episode being like, I don't know what this show is. Like,
what's just happened?
Well, I remember us discussing it on the podcast and basically saying it felt like they got to like episode 4 or whatever of the series and went, oh my God, we're Game of Thrones. We haven't put any tits in here. And then in one episode, they were like, right, we need to hit a quota. Like, we've got a whole season here. Just show everything you can in one episode. And it had no relevance. There was nothing to further the story. There was no anything to it, and I walked away from that episode almost feeling like, do you know what, this show maybe isn't for me. Like it was just stupid.
Wow.
So I'm kind of glad that that's not continued in that theme, because it was pointless. Like, there are certain things in Game of Thrones and stuff like that where the nudity was pointless, and everyone's just kind of rolling your eyes at that. But there's some of it where it made a lot of sense. Some of it, like, actually really moved the story in a direction of, okay, this has happened and that's happening because of this. Okay, all right, yeah, I follow that. And then in House of the Dragon, there was just that stupid friggin' orgy scene. It was like, what are you doing?
We've not, like you say, not enough boobs.
Yeah, they basically just had a HBO Game of Thrones boobs out quota, and they've just not hit it. Now we've moved into season 2. Now there was a lot. Same with Game of Thrones. There was a lot of kind of political intrigue, not just kind of battles and dragons, if you like. Which is same. I do enjoy that aspect of it. And I do think some of the writing's excellent. I do kind of get into it, but this was just this one episode where it finished, and I was kind of like, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure. Like, there wasn't anything from it. I jumped from it and went, oh, wow, can't wait to talk about that. Like, I've got a load of stuff here. Like, in my notes, there's plenty of stuff that happened. Let's kick off with the fact that Corlys is wearing the Hand of the Queen pin. He's obviously decided to become her hand. And he makes Alan of Hull his first mate. Now, Alan of Hull, we've seen, has got there was some subtleness in this episode, which I liked, which is Alan's wants to stay below deck, so to speak, wants to kind of like keep his head down, do his job, not really be lifted up. We now know why. We've kind of worked that out, but this episode confirmed it beyond a doubt when we saw Alan shaving his head bald to stop the quite bright blonde locks growing in, with his brother sort of teasing him like, you're not fooling anyone.
I know, that was great. Yeah, who do you think you're tricking here, by the way?
I want to just discuss the great casting as well, by the way, because if you stuck the big kind of blonde locks wig on old Alan, he would really look like Corlys.
Yeah, wouldn't he just?
Like, they got like a similar build, face structure, everything. He really would look, you totally get that. Oh yeah, that's his son.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, they do look fairly identical. Yeah.
So
that works.
I did find that kind of interesting, that he's doing everything he possibly can to not for everyone to make that connection. But clearly he's seeing salt. He is very much a skilled sailor. Now, I know from Game of Thrones and all the lore and everything that the regent, or whoever, the queen, king, or whoever it is, can legitimize bastards. Do you think Corlys perhaps is promoting Alan to first mate here as a kind of, right, I'm going to give you a bit of a test? Because he wants someone to take over Driftmark. He wants someone of the sea to be his heir.
Yeah, and he's made it fairly kind of obvious. Like, look, this is what I want.
Yeah.
He tried promoting his daughter, and she was like, nope, no thank you.
No, I'm blood and fire.
This is not for me. Yeah. So, I do wonder.
I wonder if perhaps he's got in mind now, like, right, okay, I'm going to give you this authority. You're going to be first mate. You're going to step up, and I'm going to see firsthand if you've got this in you, and if you have, then I'm going to put you in front of Queen Rhaenyra and like legitimize you.
It's a bit of a strange one, because the two brothers are talking to each other.
Yeah.
And the two brothers know full darn well that the sea state, he is their dad.
Yeah.
And he makes the comment to the younger one, like, stop trying to impress daddy, basically.
Yeah.
He's never going to turn around and go, well done, son. Like, stop doing it. So I thought that scene was important, because it was like, I was sat there the whole time, like, surely he knows they're his kids. Surely he knows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, he hasn't referenced that, like, once at all.
No.
Even acknowledged it. So in my head, I'm like, does he know he has 2 children? Like, are the backwards and forwards in my brain of like, does he know they're his kids, or was it like a fun night in a brothel? Then I was like, wait a minute, there's too big an age gap between them. That was clearly something that was going on for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
and then he makes the comment about, Daddy's like, he's never stopped trying to get his approval. It will never happen or something. And it was like,
I think
they
again,
must all know.
I think again, if you apply the sort of, this is a patriarchal, feudal kind of the society this is based on like the real world, real kind of times. And if you go back to like medieval times where, or perhaps just stepping out of medieval times where you had these kind of lords and ladies and stuff like that, and lords would step out and have children out of wedlock, they would exist but never be acknowledged. Like the dad would like literally send money to like keep them shut up and got over somewhere else. Like, take your sprogs to the next village, and if they ever saw them, they'd just be like, "Oh, hello, what are you?" They just wouldn't acknowledge it, even though everyone knew. So it's like it's beneath them. Ugh, no, you're not a proper one. I think
I know you would walk away from me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Corlys is a little bit just won't acknowledge it. I think Alan is kind of gets that, whereas Adam appears to be a bit more like, that's all right, I'll keep doing like cool things, and then and that's what Alan's saying to him, like, no, it ain't never gonna happen. He's never gonna acknowledge us. Whereas I think in this episode, the fact they've made a big deal of that means he is.
It's like, the whole foreshadowing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Frankie
make the obvious comments, and then when it happens, we go, oh.
Well, I think there's 2 big reasons why, and one of the big reasons happens in this episode. Well, we just discussed it. I think one of the big reasons is he wants the Driftmark from the past to someone who's seeing salt. Alan couldn't be more like him, if he tried in every respect.
Yeah.
And then you've got Adam, who, for a couple of episodes, has been watching this dragon fly around. Like, oh, look, there's a dragon on its own, just enjoying itself out there. And in this episode, there's this whole thing about, pairing between people and the dragon and everything. And one of the things that hasn't been discussed so far is if a dragon picks its rider. And in possibly one of the funniest and most terrifying events ever, Adam starts getting stalked by a dragon. That
out of nowhere. You're kind of like, oh. And now in my head, I'm like, well, he's been in the last couple of episodes, so surely they're not just going to kill him off.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, in my head, I'm going, they have been giving him lines and script in the last couple of episodes. So that could mean he's dead.
Yeah.
I've watched too much television to know how this is going to go now.
Yeah, well,
and I was wrong.
I mean, I have seen so many incredible GIF and memes for this.
Oh, really?
Like the whole kind of audio of like, where you going? Where you going? Come back here.
Back.
I just want to talk. Like this dragon chasing him.
You've got car insurance.
There's this. You stop for a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior. Yeah. He lands and just has. It's just this. Adam's just like, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm just sort of waiting to get incinerated. And the dragon, which is hilarious because we know this is like a CGI or whatever it is, but it genuinely has this look of like, hello, me.
Hi.
Like, I have been flying around and I noticed you. You smell like someone who's going to be my bestie.
You smell like a rider.
Yeah, it just like has this kind of real. I don't know. It's impossible to really convey it, but it's this expression.
It looks
of
like a smile. Doesn't it?
Like hello, me. Yeah. Like, oh God. You were running, mine, weren't you? Ooh, you're quick. It's just funny.
Did you have to run that far that quick? Did you have to? Yeah.
I was just trying to say hello, God. All these people running and screaming. Jeez, yeah. And it was one after them. I was just coming to chat to you. It's just a very, very funny thing. And obviously, based on the little preview for next week, he does mount the dragon and go for a ride. Which is kind of like, how do you get to that point? Like, at what point of just being there with the dragon staring at you, are you like, what, you want me to climb on? What do you want?
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine, like at some point that has had to cross his mind that am I gonna ride a dragon?
Yeah.
Like, should I be riding the dragon? Is this
like,
safe?
is that what it wants me to do? Is it just gonna keep staring at me? If I try and leave, it does this snort thing, which makes you think it's gonna eat me. Yeah. So
terrifying. Yeah.
like, how long did that take?
I'd love to. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like it's going to eat me. It's going to eat me. It's going to eat me. Why is it showing me its wing?
Yeah.
like he has like I was thinking about this. They've got. It's mentioned a couple of times in this episode about how the dragons are gods.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be forgotten that is how they are seen as gods. And if you've been pinned down, you are a man of the sea.
Yep.
Your dad is like the lord of the sea.
Yep.
And you've been pinned down by a dragon. You're going to have absolutely no kind of knowledge of what you do in that situation.
No, you ain't got a clue. I mean, like, Targaryens are like
just
raised.
Pure panic.
Yeah, it's just pure. And like I said, it's just like I got this funny image in my head of like that going on for like a day or something. Just him like, can I leave? Dragon like, okay. Do you want food? Want me to get you some fishes? No, okay. You don't want me to do that. Dragon's like staring at him like, get on.
On my back right now. Let's go.
Me and you, we're gonna go wreck some shit. It's funny to me, and it's a great concept. And like I said in the kind of preview for episode 7, well, we see at the end of this episode, like they're saying, "Oh, I think this one's sea smoke."
Sea smoke.
And it says, "Oh, sea smoke's been flying around." So, well, we know. He's like, "Yeah, but this time he's got a rider." And Rhaenyra mounts up and flies off like, oh, we can't possibly have house green.
Oh, shit.
It's bad enough that we're losing this if they go and claim sea smoke, like we're dead, so I need to go and take it out. And we see in this little preview, the 2 dragons parked on a beach and her walking up to him like, who are you? And him being like, oh, I'm so scared.
Who are you? I don't know what I did wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun next week. I just like the idea of this kid being like, he flew at me and basically I had to get on or he was going to eat me. So that's going to be fun next week. Now, one of the things that will prove, of course, is that the dragon seed is what they were referred to in the books. These people who are not technically carrying the name of Targaryen but have enough blood of old Valyria that they can bond with dragons do exist. Because, of course, earlier in this episode, the bravest and most loyal of the Queen's Guard, Sir Stefan, by the way, how did this feel?
It didn't feel good.
She says, I've done the research and you have some Targaryen blood. And he's like, oh, you do me this great honor. And I'm watching, I'm like, dude, no, this isn't good. No
dude,
way.
Walk away whilst you can.
Like, no way this works first time. Like, there's just no way. And they do their little ceremony trying to bond with the dragon. The dragon shows up and is like, what you want? Busy.
Mate. Yeah.
And he basically says an old Valyrian, like, she's whatever this one's called. We're going to be together. I'm going to be your rider. And the dragon's like, are you fuck?
Yeah, you could be, but it ain't gonna happen.
And just cooks him in his armor, and one of the like priests who were doing their chanting. I don't know what to say.
And then he slits his own throat to get out of the pain of being burned.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's gross. That's gross.
Yeah, all of it was a bit gross, and Rhaenyra's like, everyone's looking at her like, great idea, Your Majesty. And that guy's like mouthing off, and she slaps him. I was like, ooh.
There's just that look of like, yeah, well done. You finished? Like, anyone else you'd like to burn to a crisp? Like,
yeah.
Are we good? Are we good now? Yeah.
No, it
like,
does.
You know that moment where he walks forward, and like you say, like, it's not going to work first time.
No, it's never going to work.
And he's kind of like, he does this whole, like, don't show fear, but he's walking forward like he's already shit himself.
Well, I'm with him. My armor would be brown at this point.
It would be dripping,
Yeah, fetch my brown armor pants.
But he's just like, the way he walks forward, you're like, this is not going to go well. And then the dragon kind of does this thing where it's like, okay, I'll show you the seat. I'm not going to let you fucking ride me, but I'll show you the seat. Yeah. It was just, the visuals as well of him kind of just like melting away inside the suit. Oh, it was awful. Very good. We like it. We like it.
Yeah. Yay! Dragons 1, humans 0. So that particular dragon appears to just want to chill and not be ridden. That particular dragon's like, no, I've not had a rider in a long time. I don't need no bloody rider. I'm going back downstairs and I'm going to gnaw on whatever I was gnawing on. Screw the lot.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that was frightening. Now we staying on Dragonstone. Then we're going to kind of talk Dragonstone from here. She's now great idea. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea. Jace appears to
made a mistake.
Jace appears to be a bit slopey shouldered about all of this. You notice that, like all of it last week, all of like, oh, what a good idea. Oh, Mum, what have you done? Like, oh, hang on a minute, you little shit. You were involved in this.
What did you do that for? Yeah.
I understand you slapped around one of your council members. Like, well, I just had to remind him, for all my niceness, I've obviously given you cause to think you shouldn't fear me. I like that line.
Yeah, that was good, that was, because like that is one of her genuine kind of big fears at the moment, is that, wait a minute, like, everyone seems to forget that I am still the queen.
Yeah, I am fire and blood.
Yeah, and everyone seems to have forgotten that at the moment. So yeah, I just, I thought I'd just slap around a few of my council. Yes.
Well, it made me laugh.
Remembers now. Yeah.
Now, the White Worm, Massaria,
yes.
We learn her rather horrific backstory in this episode of how her dad abused her as a child, and when he got her pregnant, stabbed her in the stomach and left her for dead. As backstories go, that one's probably one of the bleakest.
Yeah, that's not, like they do stuff like that, and you kind of, you're listening along, and you kind of like, oh, we don't need this. This is awful. Like that's awful.
Like, I already assumed she'd had a pretty rough go of it. From the prostitution and everything like that, and now to have that was okay. Ouch. That's horrific. I didn't need that, but okay. I now have an even greater kind of understanding of why she's not overly fond of anyone.
Yeah, she's fairly untrusting, and you're like, well, I can understand why.
Yeah. Now, she does seem to have this bond with Rhaenyra. I think she respected her when Rhaenyra honoured the agreement Daemon made when she didn't need to.
Yes.
And in flip to that, obviously, she then pointed out the twin that was marching in, like, oh, hang on, I just saw him. So that was a kind of a respectful bond that the two of them had. And they did come up with this.
Like you saved me, I save you, kind of.
Yeah, so you're a queen.
Thing,
I'm as low as a low. You're as high as a high, and yet we've earned each other's mutual respect. And you speak to me like an equal, not as a subject, which makes me intently loyal to you. Which I liked all of that. I also liked their plan. We knew they were hatching one with the small folk at King's Landing. We knew they were setting things in motion, and we saw in King's Landing whispers start to begin of they're feasting in the castle. We're starving.
This was so cleverly done.
And it was being sowed, and you got to see that guy who claimed he was a Targaryen bastard again, just keeping him in eyesight for all of us. And so there's these bits and pieces with that, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, that's very clever. We see that scene with Helena and Alicent, where the mob and the riots starting in the streets, and all of this is stemming from the people now being frustrated, now being stirred up. And Miss Massaria had said to Rhaenyra, you know, oh, it's all the kindling, we put it all in place, and now tonight we set it ablaze. And what they did was they sent small boats of food supplies, you know,
with her banner all over.
With her banner.
Yeah.
And the real queen hasn't abandoned us. The real queen saves us. Long live Queen Rhaenyra.
She still thinks of us even though she isn't here.
That was so
Genius,
good.
Isn't it?
So good. So clever. We saw that blacksmith, by the way, once again. Mr. Hammer, as his name is, which is a fantastic name for a blacksmith.
It helps.
Yeah,
I think that was kind of a job lined up for him from the start. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all these people in the world called Smith now can trace it back to being some sort of blacksmith at some point. I think this is how he got his name. But yeah, other than that, he could have only really have been a rapper. That could have only ever been his, career choice. You can't touch this, dude. Yeah. So he
just sings that to the dragons.
You see him basically loot food off something that he's been kind of like, oh, I can't believe people are doing this, and now his child's sick and starved, and so he's basically like, give me that. So King's Landing is like literally on a kind of precipice on the edge, and these boats arriving from Rhaenyra is so clever. It really is clever, and
it's like the ultimate move, isn't it? Like, how can we get everyone back on the side? Oh, wait a minute.
Now, with that move, Rhaenyra and Mysaria is kind of not really congratulating each other, but just like, okay, that's in motion. Okay, we've done that. There's more than one way to fight a war. This is something we've done.
Yeah.
And the two of them have a moment, and they end up kissing.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that one coming.
No. I'd seen quite a lot of fans wanting it online. A very specific member of the fan community, very keen to see it. But I
worked very nicely.
Yeah. But I had not seen that coming, and it was just funny because it was in this moment they were like hugging each other, and I was like, oh, that's nice. They really respect each other. She appears to be lingering in that hug a little while. She's smelling her hair.
Hugs. Yeah, one of those hugs that just lasted a couple of seconds too long.
I was like, is she now just like moving to her neck there? Is that are they smooch? They're smooch. They're kissing, and it was like someone then barges in like, sorry, my lady. I'm like, oh, dude.
The fandom hates that guy.
You just broke the hearts of teenage boys and their special socks all over the world. But anyway, I thought that was good. I mean, the guy bursts in's all about, oh, sea spokesman spotted, and she's like, what? He's always, but he's got a rider this time, and that, So there was a good reason for, the Queen not getting any of the White Worm. So we're about to learn why she's called. No, anyway, shut up, Sam. So
stop.
We talked a lot about Daemon and his issues in Harrenhal.
Yes,
and you're sick of it.
I am.
You're kind of bored now of like just get to the point.
I feel like this is something that could have been done in a couple of episodes. They could have.
You are not alone in this. So
yeah.
There are a few content creators who are all about the books and the Song of Ice and Fire, and there are various people that I listen to. They talk a lot about the lore and the kind of go heavy into the history of Westeros, And so I quite like that. I'm a big nerd. And they're all sick of it. They're all like, "Oh, where are you going with this?" I think this whole thing is to try and demonstrate an almost full circle for him, where this witch Rivers, he's giving him these visions, is messing with his mind to try and get him back on side, because like he arrived there, I'm the king, call me king. Yeah. And it's almost like, no, you dumbass, you need to not be that guy, you need to be Prince Damon.
You need to be the prince. You need to be the prince that is backing his queen, and And
in the visions this week, I mean, there's two parts to this. One, it was quite good to see the king again. I quite like seeing King Viserys. But two, I suddenly realised I feel like the showrunners just wanted an excuse to bring some of these people back. Like, oh, I want to get so-and-so back on set. I want to go do this. I want to do that.
I did promise him he'd be in 7 episodes, and we did only give him 5 in the first season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just...
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just very strange. I just find the whole thing very, very strange at the moment.
Well, like, in this... But like this one actually made sense to me, right? So this vision... where Viserys was so angry at him. Do you remember Daemon said, like, when he was out whoring after Viserys' son had, like, been born and died, he made a joke he was an heir for a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And Viserys was livid. Like, my family's falling apart and my own brother's out making jokes about it. And you got to see this scene interspliced with... So we got this dream version of it interspliced with what happened, and Daemon is now viewing that very differently. Like, you can't still be
very
mad
apologetic.
At me about this.
Yeah.
And then you see the moment where Viserys is crying over his wife, and Daemon actually gets to be there for him, which he wasn't. In real life, he wasn't there. And you see him, and one of the things with Daemon, which I always find interesting, was he's an asshole, but he really did actually love his brother. And you only had to see the scene where Viserys was near death, climbing the steps to the throne, and Daemon was instantly the one next to him to help him.
Yes. There was definitely a respect and love there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think these visions and everything have made him confront some of this stuff. Like the previous weeks and that, I've been... Like, him nailing his mum, like, I just do not see the point in that. So it was, like, completely...
I didn't see where that linked in with the story.
No, it was...
Banging his mum. Yeah.
I have no idea where they're going with that. But this I understood. This made sense. This kind of like, okay, you're kind of making the point to him. He's everything. Now, he gets up ready to leave. He's had enough of being at Harrenhal and having his mind messed with. He's going to bugger off. And old Witch Rivers again gets in his head this time, just talking to him. Along the lines of, this is what you always do. You don't finish anything. You start something, you get head up your ass when it don't go your own way, and you storm off.
Yeah. It says the winds will change in 3 days or something, like to try and say, just stay here for another 3 days. Things are going to happen.
Now, this is the thing I was going to put to you, because she basically says to him, look, things are going to change in a few days' time. Chill out. Later on, we get the news that the grandsire, the guy that's like the big liege lord of the whole Riverlands, has now died. And we also learn in that she attended to him.
Yeah, it was the fact that he asked, and how did he die? Because
considering he basically said to put a pillow, And what was weird is when he was left on his own, he broke down in tears. Like, I don't get, like, there's no way that's
all I could think of was the relief and happiness. That's all I could think of.
Happiness, just the sheer exhaustion. I think you're possibly right, because like I couldn't, because I knew it certainly
was.
He
was upset that he was dead.
No. But it was like, but do you think that this Rivers is seeing these events, or is she off making them happen? You know, wait a few days and it'd be fine. Then she buggers off and basically smothers that guy in his sleep. It's like, there you go. See, I told you.
That's where my head is at.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she went and attended to him, and I'm like, she killed him. She went and killed him. Right, okay. So does that mean that she's on the prince or the king's side? Like, is she out there doing this stuff so that, or at first
is she just an agent of chaos?
Yeah, at first I was like, okay, maybe she just wants him to piss off. Like, she has no interest of him being there. That's why she's messing with his head.
Yeah.
She's like, just get out of my house. And then she kind of makes him stay, and she's made this happen. And then I'm like,
yeah.
So has she done this so that he gets the Riverlands and then he fucks off? Like, is she still trying to get him out of there or not? Or
no.
I'm now confused as to where her, like, where does she lay? Where is her
What's
kind
her
of
motivations?
Well,
yeah. Probably just an agent of chaos. Now, heading over to Team Green, we get to see the great Lannister army marching along, and they've got lions, by the way. That was cool.
It was the guy looking over his shoulder at the cage, and kind of like, that's a fucking lion.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And they get the golden tooth, I think it's called. And one of the twin Lannisters, who's further away from King's Landing's a bit of a ballsy prick, and basically says, yeah, we're not marching anywhere until Aemon and Rhaegar's in the air, basically protecting us. So we're going to park here, enjoy the hospitality of your keep, and someone better send a raven to Aemon to do that. Now, his twin brother sat on the council, of course, and Aemon gets this, in essence, raven saying, come and protect us or we're not going anywhere. That was a dangerous place to be. I mean, like, if you're that twin, you must be thinking your brother just wants you dead at this point.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Yeah,
yeah, great. That's not, considering we've seen the temperament that that our region has.
Yeah, it's good old Aemon.
That is not what the lot of what you want to be reading out loud, is it?
No.
Like,
the small council really shows that Aemon is running the show now. And even at the end of this, after Alicent is trying to be like the voice of reason a couple of times, and at the end of it, he kicks her off the case like, why are you here? Well, I did this for your father, and I was like, yeah, you're not needed.
Mate, this scene was brutal.
You can go back to like embroidery and kittens, basically.
Yeah,
what he
go
says
back to the domestic stuff. Off you go. And in my head, I'm like, damn, like he's clearly, we know he's psycho anyway.
Yeah. Pop back to the kitchen, mother.
Yeah, this shows like, I'm like, every time he tries to do something, she's the kind of voice that goes, is that a good idea? Is that the correct decision? Are you being a bit hot-headed?
Yeah.
That's her approach. So his approach to it was, if I get rid of her, there's no more voice of reason.
Well, what is contradictory though? This is the thing that's interesting. Is Aemon has this moment with Clubfoot, who's trying to be all spidery and clever. It's like, have you made a decision on a hand? Because really, he was the hand for your brother. And Aemon puts him in his place, but tells him to send for Otto. Now,
I love the fact that he the way he worded it, and Clubfoot's like, you honour me. I did not think, it was like, not for you yet.
You ass kissing little shit. Yeah,
I loved that. The way he kind of worded it all, so he kind of went, for me, completely showed exactly what his hand was and what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
No, not for you. Oh, okay.
But Aemon, in that, sending for Otto is sending for a voice of reason. He will know that Otto will be trying to tell him to chill out. So him kicking his mother off is less about the voice of reason and more that she's just a woman, which I think is the point that this episode made again, of this kind of, she played this massive part in usurping Rhaenyra, and now is kind of reaping the whirlwind of that herself.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, she basically told her sons and that, like, you know you're men, so you come first. And now they're treating her that way. And she no
Yeah,
like it. Poor little
yeah,
Alicent. Oh no.
yeah. This isn't fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel so bad for you in no way whatsoever. Uh, I
Reap
mean,
what you sow, bitch.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
very much like that. We see Kristen Cole and his army's on the march again. They're heading back to the Riverlands.
Yes.
They are going to meet up with the Lannister army, and then they are going to march to take out Daemon. I'm guessing from what's being said in this, Aemond will mount Vhagar and head that way as well. So it looks like the Riverlands is going to be another bloodbath coming.
Bloodbath.
Coming
Yeah.
soon to the Riverlands near you.
There's Sir Dwayne. The way he speaks to his sister is like very much like a
Gawain.
Gawain, not Dwayne.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gawain. Yeah, Gawain's like, yeah. So we're basically marching to our death. So see you later. Kind of.
Later.
It had a very much that feel of like, yeah, I know that I am marching to my death. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, he's.
And she asked about her son.
Yeah. Her youngest.
Her youngest. I was like, oh, did I forget about him?
You clearly did.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about that was he recognised what she was asking. Like, oh, what's he like? He was like, he's really kind. He's really nice. And she's like, oh, thanks.
At least one of them is not a dick.
Yeah.
Basically. It's basically what she was asking.
Yeah.
Like, please tell me at least one of my children is not hell-bent on destroying the entire planet.
Yeah. Good old Aemond. There's that line she says to him, like, you know, is the injustice of your youth not been repaid yet? You know, you lost an eye, but you then killed him. Are you not done with this yet?
He's like, no, set fire to them all.
Yeah, let the world burn.
Yes.
So
I'm hoping he's going to get his comeuppance quite soon.
I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm fairly confident someone's going to take him out.
I'd quite like it to be his brother. I'd like his brother to be able to, like, you know, to heal up enough to be able just to tell someone, you know, it was Aemon.
Well,
and all of a sudden everyone will be like, oh.
Well, of course, we have this scene where he basically threatens him, I think, which is, what do you remember? I remember nothing. You know, like, good. And, you know, he's hurting him in that scene. They're making it abundantly clear, if you open your trap, you're dead. Which isn't good.
No, not even a little bit.
And then, of course, you got Larys later on, like, withholding his pain medication. Like, oh, yeah, you're just going to... It might dull the pain, but also dulls the mind. So I'm like, Larys, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Like, I couldn't tell when I first watched that scene. I was like, okay, so is Larys trying to get, like, the truth out of it? So therefore, don't have the pain medication because it's making your memory bad. So therefore, you're going to suffer for a few days, but you're going to remember what happened.
Yeah.
In which case, the bigger brother's going to kill him for it.
Yeah.
Or he gives him the pain medicine and he doesn't remember and he lives. So Clubfoot not helping him.
No,
in that situation.
He's all about, you know, information and being a slimy little shit. So he's obviously trying to maintain his level of influence that he has. Realizes that Aemond is beyond his kind of manipulations. So
goes back to the one he knows he can manipulate.
And do what he can to find out what he can to move his goals forward. Mate, that is all my notes. Yes, he is. Yeah. Was there anything else from this episode that stuck out that you wanted to discuss?
We've got Lady Rhaena and her little dragons. They're being moved off after finding out that there is actually a big dragon where she is, but it doesn't have a rider. Yeah.
Now, do you think that she is going to be moved on, or do you think she's going to try and claim that dragon?
Oh.
I think she's going to move the little ones with the eggs, but not go with them and try and claim the dragon, thinking she's doing what's best.
Oh, that's not going to go down well, though, is it?
Well, potentially not. I mean, she did try once and it didn't go well.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
And also, it would mean she's basically entrusting the kids and that Rhaenyra entrusted to her to someone else.
See, that would be one of those things where she comes back with a dragon. It's like, wow, you did it. And then it's going to be a case of, where are my children? I gave you a job. Why have you not done it?
And the dragon's eggs, we know, because the showrunners have revealed it, are the same eggs that then get gifted to Daenerys on her wedding day to the Dothraki in all those years in the future. So those eggs, so those eggs we know are never going to hatch like for a long time.
I thought one of them had hatched because there was a little dragon running around in front of them.
No,
this was
the point that the woman was making of the reach. The Lady Aaron was like, she sent you 2 dragons. They are literally.
They're both babies.
Yeah.
Yes, didn't she said about it? Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't specify the size. Like, don't sass me, No, don't sass me, you little shit.
Yeah, that was last week. I remember now. Yep.
Kind of
cool.
interesting.
It's the same egg, though.
Yeah, I mean but what I mean is like they're about to get sent off to that part of the world, so obviously, whoever goes with them don't survive. Is the point I'm trying to make? Because the eggs are then on their own. If Targaryens had been sent with them, the Targaryens were with them, then where are they now?
That's a good point.
So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued as what's going to happen there. Like, if she
that
does,
doesn't sound like it's going to go well.
No, it doesn't, does it?
I like this character. That's a shame.
Yeah. So well, we'll see, because if I dare say losing the infant children of the Queen isn't going to go well.
No, definitely not.
But we shall wait and see what comes in episode 7. There are just 2 episodes left. If you've been listening to us very intently for the last few weeks, we've been doing 3 shows a week discussing House of the Dragon right here, the Acolyte Star Wars TV series, and The Boys, the Amazon Prime original show. We are now back to 1 show a week temporarily, because very soon, in probably 2 weeks' time, we will be doing a special one-off show discussing the MCU, the latest movie, Deadpool versus Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, Wolverine and Deadpool, the true love story. It's Deadpool 3, alright?
Yeah, I got my tickets for opening night.
Opening night, ooh.
Oh yes, managed to convince the in-laws that they would want to put the kids to bed that night.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That we could go to the cinema, and they fell for it. So I'm going opening night.
So one of the interesting things for movies for quite a while now, certainly since the pandemic, has been this kind of, there is a real, you had blockbusters every year up until the pandemic, and now really Barbenheimer was the only real cinematic event where 2 films, very clever marketing, managed to generate decent monies and stuff. Now, since then, other films have done well. Very recently, Inside Out 2 broke the $1 billion box office, which hasn't been broken in some time. So cinema is back, if that makes sense. Yeah. This film is so big for Marvel Studios, as in the numbers are going to be so important to them, that Disney and Marvel Studios, and with their lawyers, have been going after the biggest and most well-known, shall we say, illegal streaming sites. And
okay.
A lot of people out there, for example, will know, all these different sites. I'm not allowed to name them because I've fallen into this trap before. But some of them are like so well known. And in the last few days, these sites have finally like vanished. Now keep in mind the number of studios and the number of years this has been ongoing.
Yeah.
For the dedication and the money that must have been spent to take them down now, just goes to show how important these numbers are to them, that they get people to the cinema. Like, there's massive articles on Reddit right now, just like, like, I'm talking about a site that I've been using for different things for 5-6 years. I know it's one you've used, for example, and they bounce around different prefixes. And and gone. Just shut up, gone, no longer in existence.
That's crazy.
So
and like, these are sites that have been around for, like you say, 5-10 years.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
And now is the one that, all the things they've done, now is the case of them going, that's enough.
This is the one that a studio has gone big to stop them from potentially having people watch it and not go to the cinema. So it is interesting. It is kind of, but it is, when you think about it from that point of view, Marvel Studios, we know, desperately need this to be big.
Yeah, they have no choice but to kind of go all out, I guess.
Well, this is everything to them, because if this doesn't hit the kind of, because the problem they've got as well is the expectation. You know, Deadpool on its own did $1 billion.
Huge.
Deadpool 2 broke that. So if it doesn't do that again or more, it's going to be classed as a flop, even though it's not. So it's huge. It is massive for everyone involved. I think Ryan Reynolds looks like he's aged on this press tour from the stress of it.
He really does. You joke about it, but my God, he really does. Bless him.
Yeah, I know. He made a joke the other day, or not so much a joke as one of his kids turned to him and said, "Can you stop Deadpooling now?" And he was like, "Soon, I promise. Soon."
I'll be able to do it soon, I promise.
So,
like, I've been watching some of the press stuff for this.
Yeah.
And I know we've gone off on a massive tangent from House of the Dragon, but welcome to our Deadpool and Wolverine preview show. I've been watching some like the press stuff they've done, and it looks like a film where they've just loved every second of kind of the filming process, and hearing the way they're talking about the movie. Like, they are like, we spoke before about the Madame Web.
Yeah.
And all the talk from the actors before that was very much a kind of, it's a movie.
Yeah.
I was in it. It's a movie. I went to work. It's at cinema. And that was it. Whereas these guys, they're all talking with like so much passion and love for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's got to be a good thing, surely.
One can only hope.
I'm buzzing for it.
So bringing this back into land, House of the Dragon Season 2 has 2 episodes remaining, so for the next 2 weeks you will hear our dulcet tones discussing that. If you are interested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then our show discussing Deadpool and Wolverine will be out in the next couple of weeks also. And then coming soon is the Umbrella Academy, which will drop all episodes of its final season onto Netflix on the 8th of August, I believe it is. We will then put together, so keep an eye on our socials, because we'll put together our show, probably breaking it down into a couple of parts. And then towards the end of August, the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings series, returns to Amazon. We'll be picking that up weekly, episodically from then. So lots still to come. Keep an eye on our socials, and we will keep you updated of when and where. Until next week, though, everybody, for House of the Dragon, you all take care.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Then, Lady Massaria.
My queen, our gift is sent.
What gift?
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.